All right, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to be talking about lead magnet ideas for coaches. So where are my coaches at, man? Shout out to y'all. In fact, all my coaches out there, let me get a U emoji down there in the comments and let me know, like, what do you actually coach in? And I don't know if that's the right phrase for that emoji. Where I'm from, we call that the U emoji. So that's what I'm gonna call it, right? But anyways, let's go ahead and dive right in, man, because I got some real fire ideas for all my coaches out there in terms of like lead magnets and stuff like that. So let's get into it. We got, let's see, we got about 6 of these that you could choose from, and they're all pretty good. Some of them a little bit better than others. I'm not really gonna go in any order. Or maybe I will. So I don't know. Maybe the last one is the best one. Maybe the second one is the best one. You'll just have to stick around and see, right? So let's dive right in. I am going to start with probably the weakest one, in my opinion, but still super effective. Like, that's the thing. When I say it's weak, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that it may be a little bit harder to execute than maybe some of the other ones. And that's going to be the discovery call. So the deal right here is that everyone disguises their sales calls as discovery calls. And so what happens is that prospects opt in, they get on the phone with coaches, and they're supposed to get a discovery call, which is discover something, but instead they just get pitched for like 30-40 minutes. And so the discovery call, it is a lead magnet. You can definitely use it to build a list. It is something that you don't even really necessarily need to create up front. I mean, you could literally just throw up a landing page with a headline and be like, yo, discovery call, find out whatever, and then jump right on the phone and then start going through your process and doing your thing. But I'm just saying, if you're using a discovery call method, like when the person gets off the phone, they should actually have discovered something. So just keep that in mind, because a lot of these coaches out here, they say discovery call, but it's just a sales call, and people really ain't feeling that these days. So number one, discovery call. Number two, the quiz. The quiz is fire now, because the quiz is going to offer your people a chance at self-discovery. They're going to be able to find out something like, what's your number one roadblock? What's killing your drive? What's your wealth blocker? What is your style? Right? What is your financial style or whatever? So the quiz is really cool because it's going to offer them some self-discovery, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of data about your market, like tons and tons and tons of data that you'll be able to then use to actually make better messaging, better products. You can even take that data and then segment your list out and market and speak to them better on an individual level. Once you know, like, what are their blockers, what are their killers, what are their styles. I mean, you know, there's different types of quiz that you can do. So quiz, that's a really good lead magnet idea if you're a coach out there. And if you like that idea, let me get a like on this video and let me know if you've ever used a quiz before. Okay. Now the next thing is the tried and true. You can go with a checklist or a cheat sheet. Now, what you would include is things like tips, tools, resources, something that's going to help them have a transformation or some type of shift. It could be quotes. It could be like a positive habit, routine, activities, questions or statements to reflect on. An itemization of key things to remember when they're doing something. Like, for example, I have a lead magnet checklist, which is the 8 key elements to making fire lead magnets. That kind of falls in this category. And by the way, shameless plug here, if you want it, it's going to be in the link in the description, so go ahead and check that out. But that's the checklist or the cheat sheet. Now, the next thing is the workbook or framework. So this is just kind of like an outline of your process or your workflow, maybe like a little behind the scenes sneak peek into your signature coaching or framework, whatever you call that proprietary thing. And then you could also do something like an overview, sort of like a journey or roadmap, helping them get from point A to point B, or even just telling them what point A and what point B looks like, because there's so many people out there, and I'm sure that as a coach, you know this, that they don't even know where to get started. They have no idea where they're at. So, and a lot of times just being able to show the person like, hey, you're here and you want to get there. It's just like in the mall. Have you ever, like down here, we got this massive mall, man. It's called Sawgrass Mills. It's actually shaped like an alligator. It's wild. But yo, that thing is so massive that you could think that you're in one part of the mall over here and you're actually all the way over there. And sometimes you just got to go to that board and look at that board, and the board will tell you, hey, you're here. And so now that you know where you're at, when you look at that board, you can actually navigate through the rest of the mall and get to where you're going. So I'm sure that you probably have coaching clients like that don't even know, like, where am I even at right now? I kind of have an idea of which direction I want to go, but I don't even know where I'm at. And so you can use a workbook or a framework as a lead magnet to really call out to that specific part of the market to help them. And then the last two are the challenge and the webinar. These are very similar, but the big difference here is that the webinar is probably like a couple of hours long max. And it's that free training where you're going to give them what they need right there. And the challenge is usually spread out over 3 to 5 days. And every day they're going to have an actionable step, something that they need to complete to advance in the challenge. So that's the big difference between the webinar and the challenge. Also, there's a lot of different ways to kind of like play off of that and monetize. So for example, what I've seen people do is they'll do like a free challenge, but then you can upgrade to lifetime access to the recordings for like $47 or $97, and then go through a series of upsells from there. So that's one way to do it with the challenge. With the webinar, typically you're going to end that webinar and then either go into, hey, book a call with me to get on the phone to do high ticket, or $9.97 or $24.95 or whatever you're charging. So differences kind of in like the product approach there at the end, but those are two really good ideas as far as lead magnets for coaches. And there you have it. So if you're a coach out there, let me know in the comments, which one of these do you want to do next? What have you done in the past? I'd love to just get some feedback and hear like what has worked for you, and how did you come up with it. Ideally, you want to be flexing with a couple of these. And I'm going to tell you why, because different parts of your market are going to respond differently. So if you're fishing in the ocean and you're just and I'm not a fisherman, by the way, so if this analogy is whack, somebody that does fish, let me know. But I've been fishing a couple times, so I feel like this makes sense. So I'm going to just run with it. All right. So like if you're fishing, there's different types of fish that you can catch, right? If we're just talking big fish, there's so many different types of big fish that you can catch. And which type of fish you end up catching kind of depends on what bait you're using, but they can all make nice prize fish. Is that even a term, fisherman? Let me know out there if that's what you call it, right? So the point being is, different parts of your market will respond to different stimuli. So some people in your market may respond to a quiz. Some people may want to get on the phone and have that discovery call and actually speak to a person. Someone may want to download your framework and get started on the initial steps before taking the relationship further. Someone may want to do a challenge because they feel like it's going to push them to take action every day, and maybe they've struggled with actually implementing stuff. Maybe they've already gotten, like I have, I got a whole email full of lead magnets. I mean, full of lead magnets. So maybe that person is the same thing. They got a whole dummy email address that's just filled with lead magnets that they never really take action on, but they want to do a challenge because they know that when they do that challenge, they're going to get actionable steps every day. And so just keep that in mind. Your different parts of your market will respond to different stimuli. And if you can get in the habit of constantly creating content and constantly creating lead magnets from that content, then you're going to be able to appeal to different segments of the market and just have all of those people just raining down onto your list. Okay. So that's the video. Shout out to my coaches again. Let me get that you emoji down there in the comments and tell me like what do you coach? I would love to know. And yeah, if you like the video, drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're into stuff like video marketing, list building, lead generation, sales funnels, all of that stuff. And until the next time, I'm Dwayne Gaddis. Peace.